Alright guys, a few bags under my eyes today, but a bit of it's the lighting, or at least I'll say it is. Just thought I'd do a little bit of a update piece on the things that I think's important. One of the key ones is go for it. I mean, Nike come out with that one as a bit of its brand, but it's actually right. And I look at, over the years, I've spent a lot of time in the corporate world, and one of the things they try to do is constantly box you in, where they want stuff from you, which is normally your time, for stuff that often isn't your issue, problem, or whatever, to keep you where it suits them. Now, what you've got to understand is your time's your time, and what you find at lower levels is the contracts are often expected that the working hours are the working hours. So when you've got a contract, say 7 till 3, 8 till 4, 9 till 5, that's the expectation. But once you get to a certain level, they try to abuse it to the max in many companies. So the point being is that's your time and use it. And what I mean is get it back. Just go, well, that's unreasonable. You know, working an extra 10 hours a week, fair enough. Working an extra 40, you're taking the mick. So start taking time back where you can. I mean, there's ways of doing it, and you can review that elsewhere. But, you know, use your time wisely and just make people aware that you're using your time wisely. And that's half the battle. Because it's very hard to argue with somebody when you actually demonstrate, A, you're doing your job, B, you're doing your job and your hours, and then you're getting asked for more and more and more. So it is important that you recognise the work-life balance, because it is important. This all comes from actually not following the rules for decades of being trapped in a job. This comes from thinking out of the box. This comes from money from things like crypto markets, things like other ventures that we're currently doing in the Philippines. It comes from actually putting yourselves out there and thinking out of the box. And that starts with having enough time to do it. The other thing is, don't sit static. Don't just assume the world's going to give you a living. Now, a while ago, I was talking to Peter about this. You won't know who Peter is. But Peter was on about where he worked before. There was a guy there, done his 25, 40 years, God knows how long, and he got his gold watch. And Peter's looking at him thinking, that guy's probably been in the same place on holiday for the same 2 weeks of every single year, clocked in, clocked out, and done nothing with his life. Now, you see, look at that life and see it's sad, or look at that life and think, I wish I was like that guy, because I can't do that. Because it's part of the religion argument as well, because I don't personally get into arguments, but some people get frustrated why people believe in an entity of some sorts. And, you know, for me, I say, I wish I could. Because if you're that content with it and you follow the path and whatever, that's good. Because everything else is like just happening around you. You know, it's like you've got no ownership of anything. But unfortunately, I don't live by those rules. So I can't just accept something I can't see or understand, or just have to take somebody's word. It's sort of got to be proven. And that's probably one of the worst things that if you're like trying to find the meaning of life, if you're with that mindset, it is very difficult to actually find the truth, because you'll spend probably your lifetime and never find an answer. So yeah, I think that those guys that can actually lock themselves away from it, they're lucky, because I can't. But for me, I'm just like, I can't fix that puzzle. So I'm not even thinking about it. End of. And that's the only way to deal with that, because not every problem's your problem. Same as not every solution's your solution. You know, Because you don't own everything, you don't control everything. What you do control is your own life. And if other people are controlling that, you need to do more to take control of it. You need to have more ownership, more responsibility, set yourself some goals, set yourself a target, set yourself an exit plan, set yourself a 5-year plan. Start focusing on your life, because other people are, in a negative way, often to dump their work on you, often for what they want in life. It could be, a partner wants a wife, a partner wants kids, a partner wants the house, a big car, and you may want to travel. So I'll tell you now, you'll never get to the bit where you travel, because you're going to give up everything else, because your thought is, I need to provide, I need to do this, I need to do that. And you're going to constantly give it up. So it's important that you set yourself a direction to head in. Educate yourself. And education is not always about learning, say, how to program in Python or become a celebrity chef or something like that. Education is also about understanding what's right and wrong for you. It's also about being able to look in like reflection and were you doing something right, were you doing something wrong, and understanding what you can improve. Because not everybody has the answer for everything. And I would never expect anybody to actually go, yeah, I've always been right. Because that person, it has only one word that would describe them. It's called idiot. You cannot always be right, but you've got to, the important bit is the ability to actually try is far more important than always being right. Because the ones that assume they're always right are often risk adverse or will blame others for their failures. The ones that people I actually aspire to and like are ones that took risks. Not everything's always gone right, but they just carry on. Life's too short for regrets, and it's certainly too short for not making decisions. You need to focus on how you're going to get from A to B. What do you want is the first thing. What do you actually want out of life? For me, I'm looking at a place in Spain, as you can see, nearly finished. Woohoo! After that, is to start building a rental portfolio. After that, when I get to the point where me and the wife start to travel as the kids get to an age where they are content at home or they travel with us, one of the two. But for me, traveling's the key. It's not about money. Money for me it's not even secondary, it's probably third on the list. First one is sustainability. Financially sustainable, housing sustainable. Once you hit a certain point, I know someone's going, oh yeah, but that's financial. No, it's sustainable. Once you've hit a sustainable point in life, that means that everything else follows on for it. Second one is family and being content. Now, they sort of tie in with one, because if I've set a sustainable lifestyle for my wife, my kids, ourselves, then the family are taken care of. But ultimately, the family unit are the backbone of why I do everything. Because let's be fair, if I was doing this on my own, I probably wouldn't bother. I'd just disappear off into Asia and travel around. It would have a completely different outlook. But for me, living in Spain, living in Europe, traveling to Asia, traveling to the Middle East, doing all this other stuff, all comes from the backbone of having a reason to do it. A, travel is one of them, but B is to make everything else happen. Getting his house sorted in Spain, buying the properties in the Philippines, setting up a call centre in the Philippines. They all come from having a reason to do it. Now, you need to understand what your reasons are. A lot of you guys I know don't even look at it. And it's because you're constantly need a new house, got to pay the mortgage, got to do this, got to do that. It's a hamster wheel, guys. At some point, you will realise you can step off it. Now, there's a reason. I mean, the UK hasn't really sort of talked about it yet. There's a reason in the US. I think the number's nearly 3% of people are resigning from work because they've had the COVID situation. That COVID situation has said you can work from home. So hamster wheel is big car, house, blah, blah, blah. The whole world stopped. The hamster wheel stopped. You step off. Don't need a car. Don't need the lease. Don't need that, whatever it's costing a month. The insurance and everything else. No longer a requirement. Bizarrely, you're financially better off by not having it. And you have no need for it because you've discovered you can work from home. You've also discovered you've got more time for your family. You've discovered that even if you go by train, in the train tickets, you don't need the train tickets. You've discovered that your life balance has improved. Your productivity may or may not have gone down or up, because a lot of the time it actually goes up, because you'll come in and work extra hours, because you'll sort of come in the morning, have a coffee, do a couple of hours work, then go run the kids to school or whatever. You know, this is a normal environment. Then you come back, do a few more hours, then maybe meet up with friends or do shopping or something else. Then you'll do a couple of hours in the evening when the kids go back to bed. But you may find you work 9-10 hours without even realising it, but your productivity is more focused than sitting in front of a desk for the whole day, where you got Maureen from accounts asking about stuff, Doreen asking, you're talking and nattering on about her healthcare and stuff in the background and disrupting your day, and other people just getting involved in stuff that maybe just stuff outside of work that you're not even interested in, but they take your time. But when you're working from home, you're on your own. You're focused. People only message you about stuff that they actually need. All the random nonsense you don't even hear about because they've got to send it in an email. And 9 times out of 10, you'll know which ones are worth reading, which ones you just press delete on. But either way, you can get yourself focused. And this is why I think there's a big market change, which is useful. For me, it's very useful because I think realistically, the UK shot itself in the foot with the Brexit. I do suspect we're going to see some more changes in positive ways throughout Europe. The big decline that people talk about, sorry, it hasn't happened. Don't expect it to happen either. Whether people like it or not, reality is the UK's isolated itself. Taking back your borders is a frustrating thing, because I look at it and think, you're letting Boris do what he wants. So anyway, off that nonsense, because we can't control it. But the point is, I do think there's going to be more opportunities to work from home. I do see the ability to adapt your work life is there. And if you're stuck in a dead-end, routine, labour-orientated job and you want out of it, do something about it. You know, there's a lot of people I know that do art. Get yourself on some of the websites that want people to design graphics work or shop logos or whatever, people per hour and the other sites out there. You'll find a steady stream of work. And once you work your way up the pecking order, you'll find you can make a living on there. Same with stuff like Excel, same with stuff like sales calls. There's a lot of stuff out there that you probably haven't even looked at. But that may be your opportunity to travel. That may be your opportunity to change the lifestyle you're in. But I do recommend reading as well. How to Win Friends and Influence People is an important book. And you can actually get the audio book here on YouTube. Highly recommend it. Listen to it. A lot of stuff in there makes a lot of sense. Jordan Peterson provides a lot of advice, and I know a lot of people dislike him as well, but I do have concerns on their ability to listen, because he doesn't talk from opinion, he talks from fact, but it's often, well, nearly always, the people that are shouting, trying to shout him down, are talking from opinion rather than fact. But there's plenty of knowledge out there. You're not isolated. What you are is part of the hamster wheel. You're in the big hamster wheel, guys. And to break out of that, you've got to think outside of it. Otherwise, you'll just be trudging along there for the rest of your life. Don't have to agree with me, but having a house in Spain, properties in the Philippines, working in Asia, working in the Middle East, working in Europe, that didn't come from where I was in 2007 in the UK. That come from breaking the mold and getting out of it. Just bear that in mind. Thanks for watching.